This video is about two things, but it centers around a company called 𝗣𝗚𝘂𝘀𝘀, which said that it got a deal to build satellites for an ISRO company called Antrix. Now, I'm going to get into all those details, but before we jump into all that, let us take a look at what might have prompted 𝗣𝗚𝘂𝘀 to try and do this thing. They have essentially put an advertisement in Wall Street Journal and trying to name and shame some of the top officials and the finance minister 𝗣𝗚𝘂𝘀𝘀𝘀 𝗍𝗂. So why did they do all this? Was it because India settled with Cairn Energy to an amount close to 7,900 crores, which is approximately $1 billion settlement? Cairn's settlement happens with the Indian government, and 𝗣𝗚𝘂𝘀 is trying to go full speed. They even got a verdict to get $1.2 billion from the Indian government, and showing that they seized, in fact, $145,000 worth of assets before the Supreme Court of India came in and squashed that. I'm going to show you all that stuff now. So here's where the story begins. Just a few days ago, a full-page ad on Wall Street Journal targeting the Supreme Court judges and senior government official has garnered attention. Now, why would this be done in this way? Because they want to be able to embarrass the Indian government. That seems to be the only thing. And I will show you who Frontiers of Freedom is and who, in fact, paid for this ad. And I'll establish that link in just 1 second. So the money for that ad was paid by a Virginia-based Frontiers of Freedom. You saw that logo at the bottom here. You can see it at the bottom. And the petition is called as a Global Magnitsky Act. There's an act. Magnitsky Act allows companies to petition the US government against officials of other governments. This has been in vogue for a while. So this is something that's kind of unusual, especially against India. But having done that, now we have to just wait and see how the Indian government is going to respond. So the person who said that he is putting the ad, he is an ex-Republican. His name is George Landry. You will see that this was initiated on the 22nd of September. And the people who have been named are some of the top officials of India, including the finance minister. And he said that every day we will spotlight one of the top officials and the claims made against them in its own trading card in a series called India's Magnitsky 11. Now, I haven't seen this thing, but I'm sure if you guys want to, you can click on the tag India's Magnitsky 11 to see what kind of allegations they come up with. I'm not taking any sides here. I'm just stating the facts here so far. But this institute was just representing a client, 𝗣𝗚𝘂𝘀𝘀𝘀 Multimedia. And this is a satellite company, like I told you. It was founded in Bangalore, but then they moved their company to the United States. It's got a long and checkered history. 𝗣𝗚𝘂𝘀𝘀𝘀 has a long-standing legal case with the Indian government. It started in 2005. So this is the submission by George Landry for the Magnitsky Human Rights Accountability Act. Where did human rights come into this? Anyway, I don't know how they're trying to shoehorn that into this one. So in 2005, the story goes like this. There was an Antrix Corporation, ISRO's commercial wing, signed a deal for leasing 70 megahertz of S-band spectrum. However, in 2011, this deal was cancelled by the UPA 2.0 government, citing national security issues when the 2G scam was highlighted and talked about in India. It's to be noted that 𝗣𝗚𝘂𝘀 had investment from 𝗣𝗚𝘂𝘀 Telecom to the tune of $100 million for a nearly 20% stake. Now, the cancellation of the deal gave impetus to the legal battle initiated by 𝗣𝗚𝘂𝘀 and its investors. See, 𝗣𝗚𝘂𝘀 has some big money, some serious money backing them. That could be the reason why they're spending big bucks. 𝗣𝗚𝘀 Telecom spent $100 million for 20% stake. There are other companies such as Columbia Capital and Telcom Ventures. By the way, this is not at all unusual for people to jump in and sue countries, by the way. You know, in the United States, it happens all the time, maybe because it is happening first time against India, that it is coming as a bit of a shock to many who are following this case. Now, Charge sheets were filed by CBI and ED, and we have written a bunch of articles in PGurus. So I'm going to give you some of the links, and from those links, you can go into more links. So we have been following this case for a long time. Like, for example, this is the recent one on August 22nd. Delhi High Court had set aside Paris Court's Tribunal Arbitral Award asking ISRO's Antrix to pay 562 million to 𝗣𝗚𝘂𝘀𝘀. Now, what did they get? They did get 145,000 in cash in the United States one time against a $1.2 billion settlement, or not settlement, but a verdict that was given in a US court or Canadian court. I don't remember exactly. But so the verdict was 1.2 billion. They couldn't get that amount. So they just went and tried to seize 145,000. So there has been some payment made. Now what is happening is, I showed you the August story about Delhi High Court. In September, on 17th of September, a special court in Bengaluru ordered the issuance of a notice under the Fugitive Economic Offenders Act to 𝗣𝗚𝘂𝘀𝘀 Multimedia, especially to the founder Ramachandran Viswanathan. He was supposed to have been an ISRO employee, and that's how this company came about. It was first started in Bengaluru, but then it re-headquartered itself in the United States. So there is a long history here. Who's right, who's wrong, I have no idea. I don't want to say anything. The most important thing in all this, if you ask me, is the deal between 𝗣𝗚𝘂𝘀𝘀 and Antrix. Where was it signed, and which jurisdiction was the arbitration going to be done in? If it was signed in the United States, and if the jurisdiction for arbitration is in United States, then it is going to be harder for the Indian government to deal with the case, because it is more, it's more expensive also. So I don't know exactly that detail is what the agreement between 𝗣𝗚𝘂𝘀𝘀 and Antrix said as to where the jurisdiction in case of a disagreement will be. This is a very important thing that is not going to be discussed here. So we don't know that. Now, after that, now the 𝗣𝗚𝘂𝘀 is trying to apply pressure by putting a full page ad in Wall Street Journal. I mean, now people are going to start shrugging, so what? We've had full page journals and full page ads in Washington Post of basically a liar and a thief. And still nothing. People know that these organizations have lost respectability. I don't know about Wall Street, but I mean, if they start putting these ads, and they might say, hey, somebody paid for it, we're just putting it. If you have any questions, go and ask them. That's one way to look at it. So I have no idea what the Indian government is going to do. So New York Times has targeted them. Now Wall Street Journal has targeted them. Washington Post routinely puts full page ads to try and embarrass Indian government and Modi in particular. So if you look at all the other things, there's also now, the nexus emerging between the alphabet soup organizations. I hope you understand when I say alphabet soup, which one they are. I mean, they are in this particular screen here. It is Hindus for Human Rights, IAMC, and ICNA. They're very clever. They are using a Hindu name, but essentially it is another lapdog of the overall organization consisting of a few Muslims. I don't know all of them, if all of them are from Pakistan, if some of them are from Pakistan and India, some of them also are from Middle East. Whatever it is, the funding is dubious, and there are links between some of those people and the banned organization PFI, Jamaat-e-Islami, and so on and so forth. So where is this going to end? That's a very good question. I have no idea where it's going to end, because, like I said, the most important thing is that they need to show, 𝗣𝗚𝘂𝘀𝘀 needs to show that Antrix willfully reneged on their deal or belched on the deal. And if that is so, then they will be given some respite. But I don't know whether Antrix erred, because most of the time what they say is that 𝗣𝗚𝘂𝘀𝘀 really didn't have a product. Now, this is under UPA. That means there would be some political interference. Whose money is in 𝗣𝗚𝘂𝘀𝘀? Are they trying to embarrass the Modi government? It's also a possibility, another angle that you can look at. Be that as it may, what is the bottom line? The bottom line is that somebody is trying to make it look as if India is not a desirable investment location. Now, I don't think the stray case like this is going to change people's mind. Yet, if somebody is still trying to evaluate and make up their minds, it could influence them. So that's where the challenge is. I hope things play out normally. I hope India becomes more aggressive in the sense that they need to go and fight these cases in the courts of the United States, and then try to set a way in which we can say, okay, if you invest, this is the forum where you will be adjudicated if in case there is a conflict. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. If you liked our research, please consider donating using the super thanks button, or you can also donate using paypal.me/PGurus. Thank you very much. Namaskar.